Not to go totally Gary Vaynerchuk on everybody, but I kind of had this aha moment today, and I really wanted to share it. I spent the entire time that I was in college interning at public relations firms and major PR firms in New York City. And after I finished school, I thought, it'd be really easy for me to go into PR, and I decided that I didn't want to, for a few reasons, but money being one of them. But the other one being that I was really fed up with this idea of selling nothing. And when you work in public relations, you are selling a fake idea to to the press, and you're trying to get them to print a story that, may or may not be true about a product or about a situation that may or may not have happened, and trying to get people to report on it to give your, whether it's a celebrity or whether it's a product, some credibility. Well, that to me was like building a career on nothing that was real, nothing that was sustainable. But one thing I did notice was that working in public relations, products were always going out to editorial. So I decided that maybe I wanted to work in editorial. And again, I felt that it was definitely a better fit. You were attending the parties instead of throwing them. You were receiving the swag instead of sending it. So it was definitely a step in the right direction. But again, it was a select group of girls or people sitting in a room, essentially picking what products live and what products die, and basing what you see in print on the opinions of a very small select group of people that are all share so many of the same views, and could be based on the stupidest reasons, whether it was the right packaging or a friend who's the publicist, or whatever it is, or a party that gave you a better camera, whatever it is, it was really for the wrong reasons. So again, I felt like it wasn't the right fit. So now, lo and behold, I've taken a contract somewhere else for a couple of months. And I'm working on an advertising agency. And you think advertising, you think, okay, they're trying to sell you something. Let's get something straight. Whether you work in print, whether you work in television, whether you work in public relations, whether you work in editorial, you are selling somebody something. Everybody in every single one of those industries is selling somebody something. And I think that advertising kind of gets that, you're the people that are directly talking straight, to the consumer. But everyone is selling you something. So it just depends on how it's going about. And I think that what is really interesting and kind of, where I think this major shift is going to be is now the ability for consumers to speak directly to these companies and to these major corporations. And I think that is just so huge. And I think that, God, fuck, Gary Vaynerchuk has coined every single term when it comes to social media, but that is where the game has changed. Is in the ability for for this to be happening, for you to be twittering to the brand that you feel strongly about. I take myself for example. Since I was 13 years old, I've been using Daisy Chic razors, Pond's Clean and Clear, tampons, Pearl tampons, like Tampax Pearl tampons. Like, I've been using these same things my entire life. And if I had the ability to speak to their competitors and say to them, this is why I don't use your brands, and this is why I use the brands that I do, that information would be priceless to them. And I think this is a great opportunity for bloggers and for quote unquote influencers. This is kind of our time to shine. This is it. The gatekeepers are gone. And if it doesn't make a difference anymore. Editorial doesn't make a difference anymore. Public relations, not one bit of difference anymore. This is it. It is definitely our game. And I think that it is just a matter of time before these brands start listening. And I mean, they are listening. They're being forced to listen. So that's all I've got to say.